Welcome, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. First time on Infoshare, but I hope not the last one. My name is Jacek Borek. I'm Polish, but I will speak English. For some reason, they asked me to do that. But feel free to ask questions later on in Polish and approach me. I'll be talking today about the findings of our Accenture Technology Vision report. This is something that we publish for more than a decade already. Every year, we publish a new report. But as I read the one that was published this year, I think it has never been before as valid and as applicable to the technology industry that we have in Poland, to our specifics. And that's why this year we put a specific emphasis on describing those trends and actually engaging all of you and engaging our clients in understanding, digesting, and actually acting upon those trends that we describe. For those of you who don't know Accenture, we are really, the technology is our DNA. I run Accenture Technology, which is like 1,000 people in Poland alone. And this is a team that I believe is really a team of practitioners. So we make our money, we make for living on providing services to our clients. So those services really have to be very relevant. So let me cover this report very briefly. And again, if you have questions, let's leave them at the very end. The main story of this report, and the thing that we repeat on multiple occasions, is that we are talking about the era of intelligent businesses. This actually has at least two dimensions, what we mean by intelligent enterprises. First of all, these are the people that are equipped with technology that makes them high performers, that makes them being much more productive than they were before. And the second trend is that robots or technology are becoming more and more the front end of an enterprise. It's more a face, the future face of your business. So it's less the people and more the technology that is going to change completely the way businesses are organized, the way the businesses actually grow, and the way they are organized internally. So let's go very quickly through those 5 trends. I know you've been hearing a lot about this, and I won't compare it to the previous presentations that you had on this stage. But one thing that you need to remember is that those are the trends that we see working with our clients globally. So these are the trends that are really in life. This is not a vision that, something that will happen in 10 years from now. This is not a prediction. This is based on reality, on the things that we observe or on the things that we do with our clients already now. Okay? So 5 trends, and then I'll be covering each of them a little bit more. First, artificial intelligence is the new user interface. You've been hearing about artificial intelligence many times, but right now here we emphasize is the new user interface. So this is your face to your customers for the future. Very fundamental trend, very big change to a number of enterprises, and I think this is the one that we will talk most about. The second is the ecosystem. The ecosystem is the story that we know for many years. We've been seeing a number of companies very successful building ecosystems, but I think it's been never before as important to plan your own ecosystem and to plan your own role in that ecosystem in the coming years. Trend number 3 is the trend related to the way you'll be working in the future. So it's the workforce marketplace, or to put it the other way, is the labor on demand. So it's a completely different way the people will be employed, or the people will be delivering their services. And I mean, most of you also heard this. I heard this also from the public officials in Poland, that they are anticipating a lower number of fixed kind of type of employment contracts to a more project-based relationships. And we hear this already from the public officials, what kind of impact it will have on all of us and on the way we run our enterprises. Trend number 4 is the fact that the whole technology has to be designed for humans. I love this trend. I also heard this today on another presentation. I think it's fundamental because at the end, it's all for humans, right? It's designed by humans and it is being used by humans. So I'll be covering this a little bit because it again has an impact on the way you run your business. And the last one, the last that I again love very much because we are in the revolution age or in the big transformation age, is the uncharted. So it's the story of the things you can do to basically secure that your business survives the next decade. So it's to discover the new streams of revenues, to discover the new markets, or to define those markets and create those markets, and make sure that you actually have a solid position on those markets. Okay? So let's go very, very quickly through those trends. I'd like to start with artificial intelligence. Even if the technology behind artificial intelligence is like 50 years old. This is really, I mean, when I studied some 20+ years ago, we've been already applying artificial intelligence to some handwriting recognition, right? This is the technology that is based on mathematics, and it's quite old. But the fact is that the technology and the speed of computing enabled this concept to work real life, real time, so immediately, as we speak. So the artificial intelligence with the technology is enabling us to create the machines that behave more or less like humans, not in the sense of movement or speech, but in the terms of acting, recognition and acting. And I think this is a fundamental change that is going to impact all of us definitely in the next couple of years. So let's look a little bit at what we really mean by that. Artificial intelligence will be your spokesman, or a company digital spokesman. So it will be your face to your customers. We've been hearing about artificial intelligence applied in some fraud detection in the banking industry or in the insurance industry, right? This is lots of back office. We've been hearing about RPA, so robotics and automation in the back end, right? In the back office. Right now, what we are hearing and what we are seeing, and I walked around this conference and I've seen several applications of, for example, chatbots or IBM Watson at an upper floor that is basically replacing the human guy that was so far serving you in multiple locations, in your basic advisory, in booking your visit, in advising you how to get to, etc., etc. So all of that is becoming your face, and so this face has to be absolutely exceptional, right? It cannot be like a face that sometimes doesn't work, or a face that that is fooling your customers, right? The great example of the progress with regards to artificial intelligence is actually seen with the autonomous car. Because autonomous car is something that drives 130 kilometers per hour, and it has to take decisions at a very high speed. So this is really the technology that enabled this kind of behavior. But the number of applications of that is huge. And I'd like each of you to think about this just for a while. What will happen with, for example, bank branches? We in Poland have hundreds of bank branches on different cities. right? And they've been growing those bank branches. They are a very important channel to secure the banking business. What do you think will happen once you introduce a completely new digital channel to offer banking services, and you're able to advertise it in a better way? There are professionals that actually anticipate that about 30% of bank branches will actually disappear over the next couple of years. It's a big change to our society, right? But it's a big benefit also to both the customers and the banks, because you cannot secure that a personal advisor that you actually see in your bank branch next to your home is actually the best bank advisor you can have. But you can train an artificial intelligence or a robot to be the best one, or the one that you find the best, right? I think it's going to hit all the other industries. Yeah, if you think of, for example, all the call centers or all types of booking a visit at a doctor, or all of that you have to ask for something, and you need to get a response, you need to book your trip, then you need to show up, and you need to register, right? Even like this conference, right? You can put all of that into a digital channel, so there will be a number of jobs that will be disappearing. On the other hand, and I'm particularly a big fan of that, on the other hand, you will be seeing lots of new jobs being created, and this is like with every revolution that we actually had before. And it's extremely important that we actually take an active role, a proactive role in this revolution. One number that I think is very important, and why I'm saying this report and this trend is important for Poland specifically. Poland is a very lucky and preferred location for various types of service centers. You might not be aware of that, but we have close to 1,000 different service centers in Poland, either the process outsourcing or IT or different type of help desk services. They employ more than 200,000 people in Poland alone. It's an industry that is higher in terms of employment than mining. It's just below the automotive, for those of you who more or less follow those numbers. So this is the very important industry. It's an industry that pays well. It's a growing industry. But at the same time, it's a whole industry that is at risk if we don't take, if we don't take those trends seriously. We need to be proactive. We need to secure that those service centers will actually become even more relevant to those that they serve, to their customers, right? So this is, I think, a great opportunity for our businesses, for the people that are around this conference, and I think it's very important that we actually keep that in mind. Okay. Some of the examples you've seen many of them, the Amazon Echo or the different chatbots. What I like is there is also already a local application of that. There is Alior Bank with an application called Drone. So far, this is used for just dunning process, making sure that you collect your receivables in a better way. And they claim that there is a great efficiency being introduced. So I think this is important. It is happening already now, and it will be massively used over the next couple of years. Okay, trend number 2 is the ecosystem. I'm sure all of you know this. This is the business of Uber. This is the business of Airbnb. So the big guys who are the biggest in their industry without owning any assets. This is the story in brief. Yeah? You don't own anything, but what you own or what you bring to the table is the unique customer experience. It's something that is absolutely unique. Yeah? With the Uber is something that works everywhere, and you don't have to worry about different numbers, you don't have to worry about the service, you don't have to worry about having cash in hand, right? So this is one. The second, what they offer is an absolute value to all of those that actually own the assets. Yeah, we have a number of people that actually own cars and have a spare capacity, the people that own apartments and have free rooms, whatever. they offer a better utilization, a better return on those assets to the people that actually own them. Yeah? It's a great value. It's a value for all. And I think it's extremely important that we try to change or use that concept, apply this concept in the growth of our businesses in the future. We believe that every company at this stage needs to reinvent its ecosystem and plan their role in this ecosystem. It's extremely important because your current positioning and your current industry, the industry that you're currently in, might be actually the industry that is in trouble or the industry that is declining. Okay? And I'm sure you can all bring a number of examples. They were actually also on those previous sessions. I'm thinking personally about the two industries in Poland that are the giants. And in order to retain giants, they need to change. First is telco. You all know how successful were the big telco companies, but with the declining revenues and still a high cost of infrastructure and licenses, this is an industry that needs to transform. And the second is the banking sector. Banking sector with very low interest rates, with very high competition. This is the industry that also has to reinvent themselves. Those two industries in particular actually have one huge asset. They know a lot about a lot of customers. Yeah? They have millions of customers, and they know a lot about those customers. Of course, I'm not saying that they should somehow use this data against the customers. This is completely unacceptable. This is the way to go down. But it's the way to actually understand what kind of additional value you can bring to those customers. And here is where the ecosystem actually comes into place. Because you might start offering new services, new products to those customers. So I think it's something that everyone needs to think about. Again, a number of examples. Probably all of you know General Motors with Lyft, Australian government, whatever. What I like, again, and I'll be promoting that specifically here because we are in Poland, I like the concept of EID, so electronic digital identification, digital identity. This is the concept that was first used last year with the famous 500 Plus program in Poland, that such a large number of applications were actually submitted via the banking channel. Yeah? A banking channel was a natural partner for the government to submit in a very smooth and easy way the applications to that program. Yeah? It was quick and dirty, but I think it was successful, extremely successful, and I think there is a great story behind this to be developed in the current days. Yeah, with the new strategy, banks, telcos, and maybe some other players will be the holders of your digital identity, and that digital identity is something that you will be able to use in different purposes. Public, but also private, in your different purchases, in voting, in all of that. Yeah? I think it's a great way of creating a new ecosystem around something that is quite unique. Yeah, the digital identity of your customers. Okay, trend number 3 is the workforce marketplace. We see this already happening for a number of years, that you can hire IT guys somewhere in Asia that will actually do a code for you. This is what's happening already for many, many years. We are still in Europe quite protective, so we still say that a number of things need to be done locally with the presence of the physical people here. We are also very cautious about data protection and making sure that the data actually stays here. But this is clear that this trend will not stop. This trend will actually transform the way we work, the way we deliver services. The first step of that was already done in the last, I think, 10 years, when actually most of the leaders in their industries created those types of specialized services centers, right? Many of them are in Poland, and I think this is a great asset, right? So you already understood that you can work with someone that you don't see. Yeah? You work with someone that is remote. You started managing the job online, so not physically that the boss is visiting their teams and motivating them. You already see lots of people actually working remotely, working from home, working from different locations actually. Yeah? I've seen today a picture of my colleague that is working from the seaside with a coffee in her jug, and she was so proud that it's actually finally happening. Yeah? I like it, to be honest, and I would say we in Accenture are quite used to that. Most of our people can actually work from home unless there are some security reasons or client reasons that are actually pushing for that. But I think this is fundamentally going to change the way people work at our client side. Yeah? So their own employees. I think this is the trend that we'll be seeing a lot. Yeah? On-demand employment will create or will support, again, the on-demand enterprises. So no more the enterprises that actually have certain vision to exist. Yeah? It's more what kind of services you can provide to us, what kind of flexibility you have. All of that will actually make them successful in the future. Okay. Some of the examples, again, the big guys are doing this. So if we are talking about Unilever or Procter & Gamble, these are the very large guys. What we do in Accenture, we call it so-called liquid workforce. And the liquid workforce will actually mean that on top of the people that we employ in Accenture globally, on top of the people that we have in different delivery centers or competence centers, we will also have a number of partnership agreements with hundreds of companies that will actually work with us, providing some specific services. And this will be a proven network of partners, not necessarily the big guys like Intel and IBM and SAP and Oracle, but the companies that you might often find in this conference, so the companies that we will be teaming with to provide the quality services to our clients. I think this is something that will dramatically, again, change the way our industry actually works. Okay? Trend number 4, and as I said, I like it very much because it's something that still makes me believe that my kids actually have the future, and I have 4 kids, so it's important. So it's the design for humans. One thing that many of you probably discovered by chance was that when after some time you started using your new iPhone or other device, you started noticing that it actually is doing things that you didn't ask it for. Yeah? The iPhone is famous for actually tracking the number of steps that you take every day. I didn't discover that for quite a long time until someone told me that it's actually doing it for me. Yeah? What I discovered, of course, is also that when I when I get in my car to drive back home every evening, it actually tells me how long I will drive. And this is intuitive. Yeah? It's following me. It's learning my behaviors. And I find it extremely attractive because I don't have to do anything. It's just giving me help when I need it. So it's not, it's not the type of help that is like a guy from the call center calling you whether you want a service, right, or whether you want an insurance policy. No? It's a completely different thing. Yeah? This is the way the technology is changing your perception in the eyes of your customers. It can. This is also one of the findings that we have is that technology can build much more trust than a human person calling you with an interest to make, yeah, with a deal to make. a technology that is your partner, yeah? A technology that is helping you achieve your own goals, the goals that are related to, for example, a healthy life, or the fact that you want to lose weight, or you want to learn something over the next couple of months, yeah? Or you want to quit smoking. Yeah? This is the technology that is somehow working with you hand in hand, and this technology is building a lot of loyalty. Behind this loyalty is something you can use for your own purposes, right? We have an example of a company that was a retail chain in the US that was basically trading drugs and cigarettes. Yeah? It didn't actually come along very well. There was very little consistency of that message, yeah? That you sell drugs and you also sell so medicines and cigarettes, right? So what they did, they actually said, we will abandon selling the cigarettes. Yeah? This was like a $1 billion business for them. Yeah? Very significant business, you know, maybe not on a very high margins, but still a very big business, $1 billion, right? And what they did, they decided to change this into a healthcare products. So the products that actually help you live in a healthy life. They put an app, they put a number of equipment like digital devices, wearables that you actually put on your hand, and you start, and they created a completely new business for them. That business is working very well as a complementary service to their traditional medicine retail chain, because that business is on one hand helping people quit smoking and live a healthy life, but on the other hand, it actually helps them replenish their medicines at the nearest pharmacy store that they run, right? So it's like you create trust, you create a very good loyal relationship, and you utilize this to make sure that your loyal customers actually stay with you and buy products with you. And I think this is a great way to actually build this loyalty for the future. Again, a number of examples that you know. The Polish example, the one that is green at the very bottom, is Link4 with the telematics. They are trying right now to, as you know, if you buy a car policy with Link4, you also get a free of charge the telematics, so the GPS driving directions that you might use. On the other hand, you have to agree that your data will be actually tracked by the company and might be utilized to calculate your premium over the next year. Yeah? Again, a win-win. You get something, you give something, but at the end, this is something that you believe is a good deal for you. Okay? And the last one. The last trend, the uncharted. So the trend that I mentioned at the very beginning, with a number of industries that are, I believe, under a great transformation. I mentioned banking, I mentioned insurance. Many of you might actually come up with your own examples. I would say a lot of different support services will disappear. But I think it's extremely important that in this sense, we think of what role our company can actually play in the future. This is something that is not an easy exercise, because you need to step out of your industry, of your natural way your industry is run. Yeah? Very often, what you see right now are the people that are moving between industries. We had a lot of people moving between, for example, telco industry and utility industry because of the customer experience, the way you actually manage your customer. I think this is what is going to happen a lot over the next years. It will be how you reinvent yourself, leveraging the 4 trends that I mentioned before. So the artificial intelligence, the on-demand labor, the workplace that you can build around, and the very specific, I would say, human design of the technology. Okay, this is, I think, one story that every one of us needs to rethink. And then a couple of examples. Tesla, Airbnb, you've seen those companies already, GrabRide, Netflix. I like, to be very honest, electromobility in Poland again. I think this is the first time that actually we step out of our traditional portfolio of the things that we can do. It's to some extent showing the ambition. Many people are not aware that we used to have quite advanced solutions for electromobility in Melex, yeah, this fancy car that was the electric car that was back in the 70s, that was used on the golf courses globally. I think it's a great start, but I think it's important that we actually think of that concept and act. Well, this is what I think is maybe sometimes that we are missing. So last thing, just to comment on the report itself. As I said, we published this report for more than 10 years. It is designed in a way that we have a group of like 100 people globally that define the key trends, and then they go to our customers, to the people that are actually representing the global companies, and they are in the managerial positions everywhere. This year it was more than 5,000 respondents that actually qualified our thinking. Yeah? So they said, do you agree or you disagree that this is important or this is less important or this will impact your industry specifically? Yeah? It is more or less global coverage, so companies from all over the world. I think it's very important to what we try to draw at the very end is really something that is tangible. It's not a professor thinking. Yeah, this is not an academic study. Yeah, this is the story that was confirmed by the people that decide on where they put their investment budgets against. Yeah? So those are the people that will put the money behind those ideas. Yeah? And I think that's why it's so relevant, because we will be really seeing this impacting our daily lives. Okay, I have just 5 minutes, and I think it will be for questions. But before we move to the questions, just one movie. Yeah, this is really what I wanted to leave you with. New is really what we believe and what we spend our money against. New is something that if you want to experience either all of those technologies or their applications in real life, this is really where you should come. Yeah? Either as a partner, as an employer, as a client, in a number of relationships. This is what we are already doing both globally and in Poland. And I think it's extremely important. This is where we put our money against, and that's why we can actually help you do the same in a smart way. The whole report is something you can download. There's a hashtag, there's a web page. You can download this material, not only a generic one with 5 trends, but you can actually apply a different industry version, and we've developed more than 10 different versions. So there's a separate deck that is for the banking industry, for telco industry, for consumer goods, for retail, etc., etc. So if you are from a particular industry and if you are interested in actually learning more, you can go deeper, and I encourage all of you to really do that. Otherwise, I'm ready to take questions. Feel free.
But first, applause. Jacek Borek,
Thank you.
Any question? Just before lunch?
You're all hungry.
Because otherwise I have one. Because Jacek, we have seen many scary developments coming.
It's not
because we are losing our jobs. Are we then just going to attend conferences all the time, or what are we going to do?
No, to be very honest, I get these questions when I speak to press, to public press. They are all afraid that artificial intelligence will make us bankrupt, yeah? That it will go somewhere else. And honestly, I completely disagree with that, specifically here in Poland. First of all, we have those processes that are to be automated here in Poland. They are not in India, they are not somewhere else, they are here. On the other hand, we have the technology people, very smart IT guys in Poland that experiment with those technologies and can actually be very cost effective. Yeah? So we have the processes in place, we have the technology and the people in place, and if we apply this, we will stay relevant, yeah? At least here. This is also a way to solve the problem of the hiring that many of those centers actually experience. They are short of candidates to actually work and deliver those services. It's a great response also to the people that want to have more ambitious jobs than just typing in simple questions and answers, right? So people can actually see a great development in those trends. And I'm a big fan of that. I think my kids will have a great job with this, and I would say even greater than in my life, in my career.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Any other question? Then I will just leave you with wishing you a nice lunch. Please come back 2:15 for the next presentation, and then don't fall asleep because of the lunch. So take a cup of coffee as well. Thank you for being here.